So, I have been a Christian for all of my life, and growing up in Christianity and being affected by Christianity, you hear that God is all knowing, omniscient, omniscient. God knows everything about everybody at the same time, and that speaks to the sovereignty of God. However, once I took a different path in life and started to have a spiritual awakening and embracing that and started to take the Bible apart and deconstructing from Christianity, the church, and the Bible, and realizing that there are some contradictions when it comes to the Bible and God being all knowing. So let's get into it. So I have notes because it's a lot. So there's many scriptures, many verses, many passages that suggest that God is omniscient, omniscient, all knowing, that you cannot hide from God, that God knows everything, even the secret thoughts and faults that you have. And these scriptures or these passages include 1 Samuel, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Jeremiah, Acts, Hebrews, Matthew, and 1 John. However, there are some contradictions that suggest God is not omniscient, that God is not all-knowing. Let's start off with Genesis. So in the book of Genesis, and I believe it is chapter 3, Adam and Eve is hiding from God because they have acquired knowledge that God forbade them not to acquire. And so they're hiding after they sewed some fig leaves on them to cover themselves. And God starts questioning Adam and Eve. And God says to Adam, "Where are you?" Then he says, "Who told you you were naked?" Then he says, "Have you eaten from the tree that I told you not to eat from?" And then he asks Eve, "What have you done?" Then he starts to ask Eve more questions. So this suggests that God isn't all-knowing. Also in Genesis 6:6, when God repents. So repent means to change your mind. God here is having human qualities of being just sad that he created mankind, humankind. So that means that God isn't omniscient, because why would you be sad at a creation for being disobedient when you know they were going to be disobedient? So this suggests that God doesn't know everything about everybody. And in Genesis chapter 18, verse 20 and 21, the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." God didn't even know what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. He just know that people were crying out. Okay, we can continue in Genesis 32, 22 through 30. The story of Jacob wrestling with God. And it's crazy because no one sees God face to face and live, but Jacob wrestles with God and live. And then he doesn't even know Jacob's name. He asks Jacob, "What's your name?" This is all so very contradictory, and it begs one to wonder about the pantheon, about the multiple gods that Israel served. about the multiple gods that's in the Bible, about the multiple gods, because one group of texts suggests that God is all knowing, and there's another group of texts that suggests God doesn't know anything. So if the Bible is that contradictive, or it's multiple gods, either way, you can't say, oh, it's not multiple gods because God is just saying all that so the people can know. Bull crap. That's a human characteristic. Humans do that. Humans ask questions they already know the answer to. That's because they don't believe largely in themselves, or they're trying to trick you to get an answer from you. That's not how a God is supposed to work. That's not how that works. When you read and you take a look in the Bible, you'll see that either there's multiple gods or the Bible is very contradictive, which means it's not a reliable text for you to take literally.